Ted Jones World Podcast, episode 144. And today, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you see that we have a lovely guest on the couch next to me. Zach McGovern, what's up, dude?
What's up? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. Your voice just got like a little bit lower there and like more handsomely sexy. I think I noticed that your podcast voice.
It's for the viewers.
Yeah. Okay, you know? Right. Well, you are newly single, so I can imagine that you're taking your cream of the crop.
Just getting right out of the gate with that,
Taking the crop. Well, I guess that's like how we started it. But what's up, man? How are you doing?
Good, man. Just trying to stop sweating. It's hot out here in these streets.
Seriously, it starts at, even like today, it started at what, like 70 degrees, and now it's a cool 90.
But you know what? I'm not going to complain because I take heat over cold anytime.
I like the mid-spring time dew kind of weather, you know, but not the weather where it starts even this morning, it starts at 70 and goes to 90. I'd rather just know right out the gate that it's going to be fucking hot as bulls all day.
Because then you don't have like
90 degrees.
Your outfit. Yeah. It's not an all-day outfit.
Your windbreaker, you got to put it around your waist, tie it up.
Like I got shorts on now, but by the time it's like 8 p.m., it's going to be like maybe pants weather. So I'm just going to have to deal with being a little bit cold.
Also, if you had pants on before it was short weather,
oh my God,
then like you got to carry around a backpack with all this stuff. Well, you do usually carry around a backpack. I guess you don't have one right now, or I've seen you a few times in
when I used to live like in Brooklyn and in Queens, I would just bring my backpack because I would have like, jokes in there and like a change of clothes.
You just have a dildo in your bag?
Yeah, I'm a prop comic, but I only use dildos.
Where'd you used to live in Brooklyn?
All over. I mean, I've been in New York. October's gonna be 13 years, so I've been everywhere except Staten Island and the Bronx. So I've been all over. So a lot of places in Brooklyn, a lot of places in Queens. Is Staten Island even a borough? I'm like not 100% sure.
It is technically, but it's also part of New Jersey. You know, if you like really look at it on a map. Yeah. And it's far, dude.
It's far. It's a ferry or that long ass bridge way deep in Brooklyn.
You can't really live in Staten Island and commute to Manhattan with ease, I feel.
No, I mean, if you have to get on a boat to get to another borough,
it doesn't seem that easy.
It's not great. And they go all night, but like sometimes they crash there's a lot of if you think there's shitty people on the subway, like the Staten Island ferry, nothing against people from Staten Island, but I just feel like if you get on the ferry past, because I used to do the Looney Bin in Staten Island. So that's like every Friday, Saturday, I would do not every Friday, but I would do it a lot. So I would ride the ferry back late as hell. And I would just see a lot of those people that are just like blasted drunk, just like on a boat. Like, what are you doing? You're on a boat.
Interesting. You did the Ted Jones comedy show at Asylum NYC last Thursday. How was the experience for you, man?
Well, I mean, it was fantastic. I was telling Danny Palmer, who was also on the show, obviously, but for the viewers, they don't know. That used to be UCB. And when I first started comedy, I would go to Whiplash on Monday nights there at 11. And I was a new comic, and I would see all these like big ass comics and like up and coming comics at the time, like Mark Norman and people like that. And I would just sit in the front row there because it would be so packed. There was no seats. And I would just be like,
nobody wants to sit in the front row.
Nobody wants to sit in the front, especially if you're on the ground because you just feel weird. But I was like, man, one day I want to perform on this stage. This is great. Like, this is like, other than the Comedy Cellar, this to me represents New York City comedy.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And then that place closed down and it turned into Asylum, and then I get to perform.
There you go. Well, I think it was Improv Asylum, but I want to say that they took over the space from UCB because I don't want to bite my tongue when I say this, but UCB, I think, decided not to renew the lease.
Yeah, because they're still around, right?
Well, no, UCB closed down the theater that they have on 42nd between, I don't know the exact address. I think it is 42nd between 10th and 11th.
East is done too. Yeah. That was done for years.
Yeah, so they still have UCB LA, and I was taking classes for years at the UCB and performing at that stage in Hell's Kitchen. It was like a little bit bigger than the Asylum. The Asylum here, I think, is like 112, and then in Hell's Kitchen, they can hold like 165.
Oh, damn. It's pretty
something
big.
Like that. But we'll see what happens with UCB. It was such a good program. Upright Citizens Brigade, they had like a number of fun improv classes if you guys have never heard of that. But they also have a ton of groups, like funny improv groups that perform now at Asylum NYC over here. So you can like check them out.
I have a little bit of an issue with UCB.
Why?
Well, because I when I first started comedy, I started in Chicago and I was doing Second City and Improv Olympic there in the Annoyance Theater. So I went through all those programs. I got, I was picked to be on main stage teams. So I was like
in Chicago.
Yeah. So I was like pretty experienced by the time I moved to New York, and I went to UCB, and I was like, can I audition for a team? And they were like, well, what's your background? And I told them, and I like give them all my teachers' info and the theater directors there, because they know me because I was on the stages, and they were like, well, our program's a little bit different.
Yeah,
so.
because they wanted you to go through all 4 of the UCB classes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and okay.
To make you pay probably like,
I get it. It's a business.
$3,600.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah. And I was, not that I'm like rolling in it now, but I can afford it better than I could then. I was like 21, 22, and I just was broke as shit. So I was like, well, can I at least just audition? And then if you tell me I need to take the classes because you don't think I'm ready, that's fine. But just let me do that rather than just being like, no, you have to do this thing first. And it's a whole year. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what bridged me into starting stand-up.
Oh, so you didn't even have like a knack for stand-up initially. It was just like you wanted to do improv, and then it just kind of led to doing stand-up. Because stand-up you can kind of do anywhere or anywhere that they have. And
that's what happened, because I was like, okay, well, I don't have $450 to pay for a class right now, so how can I do comedy in any sense? And then I would start looking up, free comedy nights, and then open mics would pop up. I mean, I always knew I kind of wanted to do stand-up too, but I was doing improv, and I was starting to feel like I was getting a little bit successful at it. So I was like, I was focusing on that. But then when I kind of hit that roadblock, I started doing open mics, and then I realized, I actually like stand up better because I like it just being me. I mean, I do enjoy improv still, but I more so like stand up.
That's funny. I kind of had the same progression, I'd say, starting at like the improv level. And then when UCB closed down, I was like, holy shit, like what the hell am I going to do in terms of getting on stage and entertaining?
Yeah, exactly.
And then now doing this hosting thing. But I hope they come back in terms of like just being on an improv level, like watching improv shows, in my opinion, are so funny, and there's so many talented people. It's crazy in improv.
I mean, they are really, really good ones, but there are also really, really bad ones.
Yeah,
like
there's definitely a line, being an okay improver just is like middle of the line. There like aren't that many. It's like you're either like not good or really good, in my opinion.
One of my coaches when I was at Improv Olympic in Chicago would always ask us after our shows, how do you think that went? And anytime someone would say, oh, it was okay, he would be like, no. It was either amazing or it was terrible, because you don't force yourself to learn from okay, because you could just be like, oh, that was okay.
Right.
Like, where do I need to improve, or what did I do really good at?
Interesting thought.
Because if you were terrible, then you go, here's what I messed up. But if you were awesome, you say, here's what I did awesome, let's do that again, rather than just being like, nah, it was okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that's how I try to look at my stand-up too. I'm like, all right, well, did I crush that set, or like, do I feel like I bombed? So then I'll like watch my videos and be like, well, what did I do that felt out of character for me? Or what do I do that felt like, okay, you were in the pocket here and killing it,
So you've done a number of shows in Florida, like I guess in the past 6 months to a year.
Yeah. So most of the pandemic, I was going down there for, I would say between 1 and 3 weeks a month.
What was it like down there? I mean, is it kind of just like the same kind of setup as New York, bars,
comedy wise, or
sure,
COVID wise?
No, comedy wise.
Comedy wise, it's New York, but it's a little more spread out, because I would primarily go between West Palm and Miami. So I would do West Palm. There's Lake Worth, and then there's Delray Beach, and then there's Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and then Miami.
Right, that's all like an hour drive, kind of.
Probably from West Palm, like an hour and a half to Miami. Okay. So you have the West Palm Improv, you have the Miami Improv, there's Boca Black Box Theater. They're opening another one in Fort Lauderdale, and then you're just filled in with like bar shows and things like that. But there's a pretty good scene down there. Like, I was surprised. I went down there to headline one show, and you start networking with people, and they're like, oh, we'll come do this show. Oh, we'll come do this show. Oh, I'm over here. Hey, yeah, come on by. So like when I was down there, I was doing probably conservatively like 5 shows a week, and that's like when there was nothing happening in New York. Yeah,
it's definitely a good mix up. I went to Miami Improv. Ricky Velez was headlining that.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like 2 years ago, probably. Big space, and I can imagine like all these other spaces probably have a ton of seating as well.
The West Palm Improv is a little smaller, but I mean the Miami Improv is amazing. That's like a perfect like go do your weekend, like for Ricky and obviously people that do weekends there. It's like a perfect space for that, because it's not quite a theater, but it's not like a small club, so you can go there and like get a good gauge if you're at a level where you can sell at a club like that. Because if you can go sell at a 400 person club, like you're doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I love Miami, man. Just in general, though.
Me too.
I like if I could move down there, I would. So the reason why I wouldn't move down to
I was just
Miami
gonna ask that.
is because I feel like I would be missing something not being in New York.
Really?
I just have FOMO not being in New York. I feel like everything's kind of here, no?
Like, just everything in general, or comedy, or what are you talking
in terms of network comedy, but I think just meeting, I don't want to sound like controversial in saying this, but I just feel like the more important people are living in New York than living in Miami full time, or like even comedy wise, like you'll meet the bigger comics and have a chance to rub shoulders with bigger comics in New York than in a West Palm. You know what I mean?
I do agree to a certain extent, and I only have a little disagreement just because I was down there for a while, exactly. Like my level, your level, you're quite a bit newer than me and stand up, so our levels I would say are a little different. But even for me, and I don't know, maybe even more so for someone like you, because you are newer in stand up, like there's enough of a scene down there where you can establish a name and you can establish like your rotation and you can get into a lot of shows and you can like get really good down there. I agree with what you're saying as far as meeting bigger comics, but during the pandemic, I met a bunch of bigger, albeit like middle age, no, I don't want to say middle age, but guys who've been doing it like 25, 30 years. And then they're just like, all right, well, I want to get the fuck out of New York or LA or wherever they were. And then they come down to Florida. And I opened for a bunch of them. They got me on a bunch of headlining gigs too. So for that, it was great. But I don't know, if I moved down there, would I kind of hit a dead end as far as where the growth is? That's what
I would kind of think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, there's so much social media stuff now, and like you're doing this, you're putting this out, and you could easily do this in Miami. I'm not
definitely
vying for you to go to Miami.
I think you're playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
for sort.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Schultz is back, but I heard Andrew Schultz moved to Miami. But that's a guy that's like several levels above me because he's huge. You know what I mean? So wherever he goes, there's work for him, and he can sell out clubs and sell out the improvs. Like I'm not at that level yet, so I don't know. I would probably hit a roadblock at some point. But I do think I could still continue to get better and continue to work and grow as a comic. Maybe not as fast as New York, and maybe miss a lot of opportunities.
That's what I think it is, though, in terms of just growth and your ability to grow. I think it's either New York or LA, and between those two, I think it's New York.
Yeah, I mean, I did LA for a year and 3 days, and I had the 3 days, so you know exactly how I feel about it. But LA is much more of a city where you need to be a name. Like you need to be at a Ricky level or whoever, but that level or above, because you can go there and work in LA, and you can if you're not at that level quite yet. Like I lived out there and I was doing some shows, but it's very much a city where your name is going to get you a lot of shit.
But also like New York, you can travel to 4 or 5 shows a night easily.
Yeah, the most I did here was 9 shows in a night.
Yeah, like Florida, you can't do that. And LA, you really can't do that.
No, LA you could do. I mean, I had 4 shows booked one night in LA, and I had to cancel the last 2 because the first one started late, then the second one started late, and then it was all the way across town for the third one. Then I have to come back across town. I was like, there's no way I make this. Yeah. But I feel like if you have a good solid night booked, you could do 3, maybe 4 spots on a weekend in South Florida.
But I don't know. I think it's also different though. Kind of like a tourist activity in New York. What would one do? Like they want to go see a show on Broadway, maybe a comedy club. Like when you go down to West Palm Beach, you're like visiting your grandparents.
Yeah.
Or you're visiting your ex-girlfriend or whatever. You're not going to a comedy show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a problem on the weekends. It's just what you're saying makes more sense and holds more water like during the week because the Cellar is sold out on a Monday, but the Miami Improv is not selling out on a Monday unless they have a produced show there.
Yeah, right. Or if they're even open on a Monday, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's also a much bigger place.
Right. Yeah. So Asylum NYC is debating opening, I think it's like a 3rd night a week in July to do like 100%. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like scaling, they don't want to have a 10 to 15 person in the crowd show.
I mean, your show was great.
Yeah. We had 75% capacity.
How many people did you have at the show?
About 70.
Dude, that's amazing.
I think we sold a ton of tickets. And if you guys weren't there, you guys have another chance to come see the Ted Jones Comedy Show on Monday. This guy will be there Monday, 7 p.m. at the Stand. Ticks are in my Instagram bio. Guys, I have a couple promo codes. DM me for the promo codes. Only a couple left. I hope to see you there. Come eat dinner, get wasted. It's going to be a great time. But yeah, in terms of like,
and the Stand is an amazing comedy club.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you come, you're gonna have a blast. You're gonna see us perform.
Blast. It's gonna be a fantastic time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. I can't wait. We have a great lineup too.
We do have a great lineup.
Everybody's good looking on that lineup.
Everybody, yeah.
Just take a look at the flyer.
It's gonna be a hoot.
Yeah.
I mean, Asylum. Like, to your credit, like I know you said you sold a bunch of tickets, but everybody says that when they book a show. They're like, oh, dude, it's sold out.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you know.
Are you gonna back yourself up with saying to my credit?
That's what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
My point being, I was like tempering my excitement because I was like, all right, I know this is a pretty big space. It's a Thursday night. It's kind of an earlier show. Like he hasn't done it here before. So, but he said he sold some tickets. Let's see. And then we're sitting down there and there's no one there. And then your grandma came down. And I'm like, is there going to be like,
you, Grandma?
Yeah, Grandma came and sat right up front with your dad and had a great time.
Yeah, hilarious. So like my grandma and my dad, we were probably the only two audience members in the room like 25 minutes before showtime.
Yeah, and that's for a comedian, you're like, dude,
I was like, fuck, where is everyone?
I'm like, it's his grandma and his dad? Like, dude, there's no way this turns into something. And then it's just people just started lining up, and more people, and a lot of hot
came
people
in drones. Yeah, there were a lot of good-looking people there.
You have a lot of very good-looking friends.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. My dad definitely had a few of his friends there, which was nice.
But I will say, like
it was cool.
Yeah, it was great because also when it's a very good-looking crowd, sometimes you're worried because maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I feel like if there's a lot of really hot girls in the audience, that's not necessarily always the best audience.
Maybe right, yeah. They're like,
I can't laugh at a fart joke.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't fart.
Yeah.
I've never fucked a guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you're a girl with a huge podcast following and then they come laugh at everything. Sure. But they're just a little, once they get drunk, then they're laughing at everything. But at first they're just a little more apprehensive to, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it turned out to be a fantastic show. Thank you again for having me.
Yes, of course, man. You were great. So I brought Zach on the stage. I was like, this guy is super handsome and underratedly funny. Yeah. Zach McGovern. He turns back at me. He's like, underratedly handsome? What? Oh, no, underratedly funny? What the fuck, dude?
I'm like, that's the first thing you say.
Fuck, I don't know. I was like, my bad, man. I got to get like a script of what you wanted me to actually say.
Yeah, well, my mistake was being like, I was like, just say whatever you want. And I didn't think... I thought you were just going to be like, this guy performs all over. He's really funny. You're like, he's underratedly funny and very handsome.
That's a perfect note. This guy performs all over. Literally, you do. So,
I mean, that's actually, I don't mind that. Thing. That is a funny credit. So I enjoy it. I mean, I played with it and it was fun. So I thought it was funny.
I think that's also something that can be done by most comics when they're brought into the stage. If their intro is funny, you just address that right away and then you could play into that. Like that. When Claire Parker came onto stage, I was like, the very pretty and lovely Claire Parker. She was like, pretty? I only do comedy because I didn't think I was pretty. And then when Katie Morrissey, the next girl comic, came on the stage, she was like, I heard Claire come on the stage, or I heard Ted introduce Claire when she came on stage, and I was going to be so pissed if he said I was pretty. He didn't say I was pretty, so now I'm equally as pissed. Good touch.
You can't win, bro. You can't win.
But the reason I remember all this stuff so well is because I did a vlog episode on it, Vlog 23, which is coming out Friday.
That's right. You had the camera.
You guys are listening to this Thursday right now. So tomorrow, check out the show on YouTube. I did like a 6-minute vlog.
Oh, nice.
Quick, boom, 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 boom. But it was great. Everyone is really funny.
Yeah, those are cool little vlogs too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it. So we'll see. Hopefully we get a bunch of traction on that, and we'll do the show again there at Asylum soon. But for the most part, guys, I'll be doing shows hopefully a couple times a week as time progresses. So we'll see. But the Stand this Monday is going to be a great show. Zach will be there.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah,
the food there is fantastic too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely come hungry.
Come and eat dinner for sure. 7 p.m. perfect dinner time.
And it's a vibe too there.
Have have you done that upstairs room yet?
Yeah.
Okay. You like it? Did they close the doors when you did it?
They did, but it was before COVID.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're trying to keep like everything open airy. So if it's warm out, they'll definitely probably have those doors open and then have the front doors to the patio open too. I'd
be interested to see what actually happens though, because I've seen places have gone to 100%. Like within the last 24 hours, like Cuomo was like, all right, whatever. COVID's
because we reached what, 70%?
Vaccinated. Did you get vaxxed?
I did not yet.
Okay. Are you going to?
But I still have antibodies. Okay.
That's what they all say, right?
Okay, so I got the antibodies. I'm not trying to fucking overdo it.
All right, so you're good.
I'm gonna get vaxxed. I just wanted to wait a while and see what the majority of my friends said about it.
I see if we just start fucking twitching and freaking out.
You know, I wasn't like anti-vax, like, oh, they're tracking us or anything. I was just kind of like,
there's no microchip in it.
I know that. I'm not even, no, I wasn't thinking that for even a second. I was just like, I had COVID, and then obviously I have the antibodies, and it wasn't, I mean, I understand people who died, and it's for other people's protection too. But while I have the antibodies, I'm like, I don't want to put that shit in my body and just feel bad for a few days. Like, but now I'm like, okay, you know what? It's time. Like, shit's opening back up. I want to travel outside the country. I know I'm going to need my vaccine. Like, I was supposed to go to, not beyond this show tonight, but I was going to go watch the show that it's at, I forget where it's at. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. But they were like, okay, just make sure you bring your vaccine card.
In New York, indoors?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, damn. And
I haven't really heard much of that yet, though.
Yeah. And the girl was like, well, maybe you should just like see if you can borrow a friend's card and just like say you forgot your ID. And I was like, that feels kind of shitty. I'm not.
But in general, that could be a huge jam if you lose that COVID card. I'm 65% sure I know where it is right now.
Really? Well, you got to take a picture too.
Yeah, I got to do that because I don't know if I did that yet.
Put it in the cloud.
Yeah, lich.
And then you'll be fine.
The cloud. Cloud, kid. Yeah,
I think I'm going to do, which one did you get?
Moderna. Yeah, what'd you get?
I want to do Johnson & Johnson.
What did you get? What?
I
didn't do it yet.
Yeah. Well, also, you were talking about Florida. Obviously, as you know, if you are a normal person that watches the news at all,
yes,
most Floridians I came into contact with are like, no, I'm not doing the vaccine. Fuck the vaccine. I'm good. I had COVID or I didn't have COVID, and now we're back to normal. I'm fine.
It's just the thought of not having the vaccine and getting sick would be like, fuck. Well, I had all this time where I could have gotten COVID. I mean, I could have gotten the vaccine. And if you think about the first maybe 6 months of COVID, like from March to September, if people knew that we had a vaccine at that time, I feel like a lot more people would have taken it right then. Even though the timing of the vaccine would have been super quick, I think people are just like, fuck, I want to get this over with. Just give me the juice or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do it. I just haven't done it. I'm gonna do it. I'm probably gonna do it tomorrow and just go to the Javits Center.
Reed or something.
Well, I live right across from the Javits Center, and they're still doing the walk-ins, I believe, but I don't know if they're doing Johnson & Johnson, because I just want to get the one shot. I don't want to go back 2 weeks later.
Yeah, understood.
Because I want my card. Because also there's a bunch of comedy clubs here, and not only the one that I was just talking about, but I can't do the shows now because they're like, you as a comedian need to be vaxxed. So I'm like,
I have not across separate. Well, I guess I'm vaxxed, but I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that for me was really the point where I was like, all right, you know what? Like, regardless of how I specifically feel about it, or you know, personally, like, I want to perform at these clubs, so just get it. You're not gonna die. There's no chip in it. Just get it. You know. There was just a little part of me that was like, I hate that, like, the government is telling me to do this. Like, you have to do this. You have to do this if you want to travel. You have to do this if you want to go to these places. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't like that authoritative, you know, connotation. But
point of view, yeah.
All right, we got to do it. Fuck it. It's 1 prick, 2 pricks if you do.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So.
I did mine in Brooklyn.
How'd you feel?
In Bushwick back in the day. I was fine. My arm hurt for 24 hours.
That's it.
Like a dead arm, but that's it. I didn't get sick.
No, you didn't get any, not even from the second one?
Nothing, no. My friends did from the second one.
From Moderna?
Yeah, got like 48-hour like flu-like kind of symptoms, but I was fine.
Everyone was just saying it was like a mild flu, like the hot and cold flashes, and you know, that's me every Sunday after drinking. So
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. How much are you drinking these days?
I'm not really. I mean, just like a normal New Yorker, just
every day,
Monday through Sunday.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. I drink. If I go out during the week, like when I go to comedy shows during the week, I typically don't drink, or if I do, I'll have like 1 drink.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, I'll have a few more.
Do you smoke?
I do edibles sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I get a little weird when I smoke weed. Like if we smoked weed right now, this would be a very different podcast.
I cut off smoking weed 3 hours before each podcast, unless I make it known that like I'm going to do it, which is like on the podcast. Otherwise, I just get a cloud and I can't really fully finish my thoughts.
Yeah. You're not a big drinker though, are you?
Not really.
Right?
No, I prefer smoking weed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably healthier.
Yeah, no, definitely healthier. I think.
But I mean, and then I'm coming back into being single now, so you're like,
Oh yeah, you can't like meet women if you don't drink.
What do you do?
Like that's literally how I've felt the past 6 months.
Yeah, you're like, what do you do?
Because I don't want to go on dates, don't want to go on dinner dates, and if I go on a date, I mean, what's the only thing you can do? Meet up for a drink. You can't meet up for coffee.
Well, you can meet up for coffee.
I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't really want to.
I know, because then what do? You have coffee, then you got to shit.
Yeah, and you can't even lay it down too. Like after a 10 a.m. coffee meeting.
No,
the whole point is like you drink at night. People are get a little bit wasted. You mention your apartment, how you want them to see it later. And then you kind of connect. That's like my go-to, dude. I'm like,
that's your move?
Yeah, I talk about like, I'm like, yeah, and then this thing in my apartment, like you should come over and see it later. Blah, 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 blah. Like I make sure that I throw that idea out, like not even fully sticking to it.
Yeah.
Not like sticking it on the wall here, but like just like throwing it in the conversation.
Well, you know what I used to like to do? Occasionally, I would just right off the bat be like, just so you know, like nothing's happening tonight.
What?
Yeah.
Why would you, as a joke?
Well, I mean, just to see what happens. Because most of the time the girls would just laugh and be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, we'll see about that. Or like, no,
She'll
I know.
say that? That's like opposite roles, I feel.
I know, yeah. Because
a girl would say that.
I know. But I get on it. I'm like, just so you know.
Work?
I mean, sometimes it would work. And sometimes they would just be like, oh, I know. And then I'd be like, fuck, all right.
I think that's like a really big risk though.
Yeah.
Well, her just be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I feel like for me that would not work well.
Well, it's also like, and I think about this sometimes too when I go, because dating is a thing. You gotta figure out what are you doing. If you're gonna have one drink, okay, she's cool. We're gonna have two drinks. You know what I mean? But if like right off the bat, she's like, just so you know, nothing's happening tonight.
Yeah, just so you know, we're splitting the bill.
Just so you know, we're only having 2 fucking drinks then.
Yeah, literally, one for you, one for me, pal. And I'm having a seltzer.
And
I'm not gonna go drink for a drink with a girl if I know nothing's gonna really happen.
Yeah.
Of it, and also I don't like having just one drink, man.
Really?
I don't know if it's a bad thing that I have, but like if I'm drinking, I'm drinking. Like,
no, okay.
I'll have 4 White Claws. Like that's where we're starting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can easily just have like one glass of wine or like a beer. Or
yeah,
something.
I can't really do that much, and nor do I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's because then if you're having one drink, you're doing it for the taste. You're not doing it for the purposes of getting buzzed.
Yes.
Like I like a good beer, like a taste. I like a good glass of wine.
Good pilsner.
Good pills. Good cocktail.
Yeah, bitch.
But the cocktail, if you have one cocktail, you're probably getting a little buzz, and then you're like, well, now I know.
Yeah, you can't have one vodka soda. I don't think that exists.
No, they just open the tab because they know you're gonna have another one.
When's your next show?
My next show.
Say Monday.
Oh, it is Monday. No, it's not Monday. No, I have shows.
Today we're recording. It's not, not right before the Monday
okay,
show.
so this is coming out Thursday. My next shows are Friday at Tribeca Comedy Lounge, Black Cat Comedy Club, Saturday at New York Comedy Club, Sunday at New York Comedy Club, and then Monday at the Stand, baby, for Ted Jones.
So you're cranking them out this weekend. Cool.
I'm cranking them out.
I will hopefully meet you at Black Cat this Friday.
Nice. You're gonna come freestyle?
We'll see. What time are your shows at New York Comedy Club?
They're the early shows. Yeah, they're those early shows.
I don't know, bro.
5 p.m. Saturday, 5 p.m. Sunday, New York Comedy Club.
And how does that work on drink minimums and tickets at that club? I don't know.
Just same as most clubs. Well, no, because the stand's a little different. It's 2 drinks and then the ticket price. But Ryan, the guy who runs the shows, he has a really big meetup group. So I think he comps tickets for some people that do the meetup. And then, I mean, it's been great. Like the shows have been great.
What does that mean? Meetup group?
So he has I think it's meetup.com. He has like a 75,000 follower, group on there. So he just puts out where all the shows are. And every single show, he has at least like 10 people that are coming from these meetup groups. It's crazy.
I should start one of these. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
That's
meetup groups, Eventbrites, anywhere you can like get people to follow your stuff. Especially for someone like you, you do a lot of good stuff. You have a lot of social media stuff. You're putting content out like that. You can just link up to this stuff, and then it will make more people want to come. Because there's a lot of new people to the city too, and they're always looking for stuff to do. Yeah. Like I hung out with the comic strip on Monday. There was like this group of Mormons that came to the show, and they had been to the show before, and they came with us to the bar afterwards, and they don't drink, they don't have sex like until marriage. So it was a very interesting conversation.
Doing at the bar, yeah.
They were just hanging out with the comics because they were like, "This is really cool. We're new to the city."
Sex, yeah.
No sex, no drinking.
Comics sometimes are weird.
Oh, dude, you're telling me. I've been doing this almost 13 years.
So what's the weirdest story you think you have? I know I didn't say I was going to ask you a big time question like this. Yeah, what's the weirdest thing you've encountered? I'd say crowd-wise and then other performer-wise.
I wouldn't say weirdest, but I would just say like when I first started stand-up, I would do these open mics, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but he ran in the same. He was a little further along. He was like, I think he already had maybe a TV credit or he had written on a show or something, like a pretty substantial thing. And he would choose to go on right after me every time at the open mic, whenever we were at the same open mics. And he would spend his entire 5 minutes just shitting on me over and over and over again. And I was like 3 months into comedy. I'm like, what is this what comedy is? This fucking sucks. Like, I'll beat your ass. You know what I mean? So I went up to him one time and was just like, hey man, like you need to lay off that shit. And he was like, "Oh, you need to. Oh, are you gonna fight me? Are you gonna fight me right now, dude? Like seriously, you're gonna be that much of a bro?" And I was like, "Dude, I've seen you at probably 100 open mics now, and you spend your entire set shitting on me. It's weird at this point, and you're just fucking with me as a dude. You're not fucking with me as a comic. Yeah. So stop it, or I'm gonna wait for you outside.
Things can get physical.
I'm gonna wait for you outside, and you're a fucking nerd, so you're not gonna do that."
And this guy still does comedy?
Yeah, but then a couple years later, we, because I think he was just like, "Oh fuck this, bro-y frat boy, pretty boy piece of shit. He's just doing comedy, taking up stage time." And then when I stuck with it, I think he maybe lost that feeling towards me or gained a little bit of respect for me because I was hustling just like he was, and I was doing shows every night and doing open mics and like really trying to build myself up as a comic. So finally one time at our show we were on together, he's like, "Hey man, that was a really, really good set. And by the way,"
oh my God, this is hot.
Yeah, and he was like, "It was a really good set. And by the way, I just want to like say, I feel really shitty about doing that when you first started, because I remember when I first started and it was really hard, and I don't know why I did that. I think it was just insecurity on my part, but I just want to tell you, like, good job sticking with it, and good job tonight.
Squash the beef.
Yeah, then we kiss.
Nice. Yeah, I knew that was going to be a hot ending to that story. Yeah. Crowd moment. I mean, I know I've seen you firsthand deal with a bunch of drunk people before, but is there anyone in particular that stands out to you?
Nothing in particular. I've had a few. Well, I guess one time I was at the show in Brooklyn and this guy was drunk in the audience and there was no bouncer and it was just in the back of a bar. But it was a separate room, and it was a good show. There was probably like 30 or 40 people there, and that was like max capacity for that bar room. And this guy was just talking, and I was like the fourth comic up. And once I got up, he started talking to me, and I was like, dude, you got to shut your fucking mouth. Like, no, you're a loser. You just want to talk because you got drunk and you're by yourself and you're lonely, and this is not your room. Like, this is for comedy. Everybody here wants to see comedy, right? And everyone was like, yeah, woo. And I was like, see, everybody here collectively hates you. So you need to.
Oh man, he didn't like that.
It was like, you need to shut up and watch the show because it's a good show, or you need to leave and let us do what we're doing. This is a thing. We're having fun. We're doing a comedy show. And he's like, fuck you. And I was like, all right, whatever, dude. Yeah. So then he like quieted down for a minute. So I went into a joke and I like looked over to the left side of the room, and right as I looked over, this glass just fucking, I see it out of the peripheral, and he's chucking a 16-ounce pint glass at me, and it luckily just broke right in front of my legs and didn't hit me, but like a whole glass. And he's probably like 15 feet away from me, so not far at all. That could have like severely hurt me.
Yeah, it could cut your face off.
Yeah. So that's when I just snapped. I like put the mic in the stand, and I was like, you need to get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna fuck you up, like, you piece of shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, went off, and then like I don't know. There was no bouncer there, but this big dude came in and was like, all right, bro, you gotta go. And like me and him just kind of like escorted him out, and he was like talking shit the whole time. And I was like, yeah, you're a bitch, whatever. Like, take it easy, man. I was like, I'll be off stage in 5 minutes if you want to wait outside. It's up to you. And then I got back on stage and I was like, sorry if I freaked out everybody. I know that was probably weird for you guys. I apologize. And they were all like, no, you're awesome. Like, yeah, we're doing shots after this. Like, let's party. And then just like had a really good set and was fully ready for this guy to be waiting outside. And obviously was nowhere to be found.
There's a lot of excessive drinking. Well, I mean, in general in society, but at comedy clubs specifically.
Yeah. And it's, there's the heckling is just, it's weird to me because it's like people don't understand what this is. Like, if I ask a question to the audience, respond. You know what I mean? Is everyone drinking tonight? Woo, yeah. Is anybody do drugs? Like,
I'm having Jameson.
Yeah, like not too much.
3 ounces.
You know what I mean?
No, fresh. Cool.
We don't care. Yeah. Just say yes.
Yes.
Like some people don't understand the dynamic of a comedy show, and then they ruin it. And it's because they've got other issues going on in their lives, and they decide this is the right place to do it.
Smoking weed as an audience member in a comedy show, I think, would do better
than drinking.
Yes.
Maybe,
you know,
but maybe like you said, you get cloudy and you're like, oh, I wouldn't be able to finish my sentences as an audience member.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as an audience member, maybe you wouldn't like pay attention.
You wouldn't pay attention, and the jokes would go over your head.
You get paranoid or something.
Yeah, exactly.
As people do when they smoke weed. I guess like you do.
Yeah, very paranoid. Just paranoid about my life. Like if I was sitting here, I might be like, Teddy thinks I'm a little weird right now. Oh God, am I being weird? But then I would just leave here and be like, what am I doing with my life? Like, was that a fun podcast? Am I a loser? Should I quit comedy?
A lot of people get paranoid like that when they smoke weed.
Like introspectively paranoid.
Right.
And that's not a fun place to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if I've been high in the subway before and been like, this is the worst possible place to be right now. I hate this so much.
So do you get anxious every time you smoke weed or just like
not every time? I think it's kind of like, have you ever heard, have you done mushrooms?
Yes.
So they say like if you're having whatever's going on in your brain, like how you're feeling, or if you're trying to deal with something emotionally, like when you do mushrooms, that's going to come to the forefront. I feel like that's a little bit when on the rare occasion I smoke weed, like
that's like kind of as a mushroom effect.
Yeah, I smoked weed last weekend and I was drinking some, so I was a little drunk, but I wasn't wasted or anything, and I was in a really good mood, and the weed just kind of helped that, and I was just like laughing a lot and joking, and I was kind of stupid, but like fun stupid, you know what I mean? But I've been other times where I'm like stressed about something and I take like 2 hits and I'm just like, I'm a loser. I hate myself.
No, but I have heard of a lot of people just getting super stressed from it. I guess we need to find, or when weed is fully legal, which it is fully legal, but when weed is in stores and we have like weed connoisseurs behind the deli bar, I think that's when a lot more people will start smoking weed, when they understand exactly what they're smoking. Yeah. And it's not just like from a Ziploc bag and like, am I going to get really paranoid this time and anxious? Yeah. Hopefully not.
Let's try.
You know what I mean?
So you can have it.
So like when the nug connoisseurs come to New York, as they are in like Cali, Oregon, and places where it's legal, I think that like a lot of people will hopefully transfer from alcohol to weed, because in my opinion, it's a lot healthier.
Yeah, I don't know about transferring, but I do think maybe definitely picking it up more because like in Illinois where I'm from, they have dispensaries now because it's completely legal recreationally. So you can just go in and do exactly that.
You don't have your medical card?
Nope.
You could just do it.
You just, as an out-of-state resident, you are only allowed a certain amount, and it's like a quarter of what the in-state residents are allowed, but it's still enough. Like you can get edibles and flour and stuff.
Right.
And it's that same thing. You like walk in and I'm like, hey man, I get super paranoid most of the time. And they're like, all right, well, stay away from sativa. Maybe you need an indica, maybe you need a hybrid, but you need like lower THC, more CBD. So they like really walk you
like
through
the Apple store of weed.
Yeah, it's cool though. Cause then, and they're like, maybe with this, like start with like half of this edible and then give yourself an hour or two and see how you feel. Like they really know what they're talking about. So
yeah, I'm excited for people to start to really see, maybe even restaurants that just have like weed in it, like a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
They definitely have those.
I mean, the weed food is weird to me.
A little bit. I mean, it depends how much THC they really put in it. Like I've seen on, was it Netflix, like a baking show that they just put like 0.5 milligram of THC. So like you barely feel it, stuff like that. And then throughout the whole meal, I think you finally get high. Yeah. Like you have the drink infused with THC. Okay. You have the appetizer, whatever it is, the salad, your main course, the dessert, and then you go out and you're just stoned.
Okay, see, that's good. Because like Benny D has jokes about like weed food. And it's like,
yes, I know that classic joke. We won't blow up his joke on the spot.
No, I'm not trying to blow up the joke. I'm just saying, like,
just in general, like people eating weed and
I don't get it. I don't get eating weed food because when I get high, I'm like, damn, I want to eat now, but I don't want to eat to get high and then be like, damn, I already ate. Fuck.
Yeah, and you just keep getting higher. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got to eat again, and then I'm a fat piece of shit. Just because I ate weed food.
All right. Well, Zach McGovern, thank you so much for joining me today on the Ted Jones World Couch. We'll see you Monday, man. Monday, June 21st, 7 p.m. Guys, the tickets are in my Instagram bio, Ted Jones World, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.